Mr Deputy Speaker. This is the second time that I've spoken in this debate. The first time was 2 years ago, and I followed David Amess. I can even remember actually where he was sitting in the chamber at the time. When I spoke in that debate, I refreshed my memory actually as to what I said, and I raised for the first time the issue of improved public transport links north from Newbury up to Oxford, and specifically the need for a new bus route that would link Newbury to the towns and the science parks up what we call the knowledge highway that is the A34. I am delighted that 2 years later, after countless surveys, leaflets, emails to constituents, meetings with ministers, meetings with Oxfordshire County Council, West Berkshire County Council and various bus companies, that bus route will open for the first time on Monday, the new X34 bus route. And I just want to say how grateful I am to the government for the 2.6 million in BSIP funding that was given to West Berkshire Council in recognition of the fact that rural areas are often not well connected. And I also want to put on record my thanks to Oxfordshire County Council, West Berkshire Council and Thames Travel for taking the rare and unusual step of creating a new bus route that runs across two counties. So since it is perfectly obvious that this debate actually works, it seems as good a time as any to raise my next infrastructure campaign, which is for a bridge over the level crossing, or at least some part of the adjacent railway line in Thatcham. It sounds like a small issue, but what in fact is a significant signalling problem causes residents of that town extensive delays at peak times every single day. Many of my constituents say they wait from 45 minutes to an hour in each direction when they're travelling to and from work, and I dread to think how many hours are lost every day in total to people having to wait there. I have, before I raise the issue in this debate, I've already met the Transport Secretary to discuss this. I'm very grateful for his support so far, although I haven't asked him for any money yet. And I'm visiting the site and meeting actually the signalling team tomorrow, because there is a significant problem. My predecessor, now in the other place, Lord Benyon, made initial efforts, and in fact he told me if nothing else he can tell me where the plan to build a bridge went wrong in the past, but I think there are sensible practical solutions to this significant infrastructure blockage, and I know that the magic of this debate means that the bridge will be built very, very soon. I just want to say there are two other things actually I just want to say. I'm going to be brief. I wanted to make reference to another campaign that I've had running for about 2 years, which is in relation to the waiting times families in West Berkshire face when they're seeking a diagnosis of either ASD, autism spectrum disorder, or ADHD at the Berkshire West CAMHS service. When I became the MP, the waiting time for families could frequently be as long as 3 years. And that, I have heard in that time absolutely heartbreaking stories about children who were unable to access the curriculum or were experiencing serious social difficulties or sometimes weren't even in school at all. I think every family who's affected by this in my constituency is well aware that I have been campaigning to bring down waiting times to a 12-month maximum, and we have had a great deal of support from the government. In 2021, the Berkshire West CAMHS service received an additional 1.6 million to reduce the waiting times. As a result of that, they were able over time to recruit 27 more healthcare professionals. They set themselves a firm target of seeing all children seeking an autism diagnosis of 2 years by March of this year, and they're currently 96% of the way to meeting it. They only have a handful of cases that are longer than that. However, they tell me in the most recent phone call I've had that the 12-month target remains a challenge because of an 84% increase in the number of children who are being referred for autism diagnoses. At this stage, neither they nor I are clear as to why this is the case, and obviously that's going to require some more attention. But their present approach is to triage the children with the highest needs so that they don't wait any longer than a year. But I am determined to drive down overall waiting times to 1 year for all of those families, and I will be continuing my campaign and looking for assistance from ministers as to how we can achieve that. The final thing I wanted to talk about was water quality, and my area is covered by Thames Water, who had, I have to say, been working constructively with me since we implemented the Environment Act. And I have 3 chalk streams that run through my constituency, and the pledge that they had made is that they were producing in the summer of this year a wastewater management plan that would set out how they would reduce the use of storm overflows into those chalk streams by 80% by the year of 2030. That was a firm commitment. In addition to this, as well as sort of wanting to work with the water companies, I wrote to Ofwat on the 25th of May this year to ask if it would consider tying bonus payments and shareholder dividends to environmental performance. And I don't mean that in a discretionary sense. My suggestion was that if any water company is fined for illegal discharges, it should be mandated that it does not pay bonuses to senior managers or dividends to shareholders, just as, for example, bankers would lose their bonus for breaking the law. I suggested so should water company executives. And I did receive an encouraging response from Ofwat, but I think it isn't really a matter of dispute that Thames Water's it is in a state of flux with the resignation of its CEO, and we don't know what the future holds. So I really put this on the record, Mr Deputy Speaker. I just want to say that when Parliament returns, I hope we'll have much greater clarity as to what the future of Thames Water holds, and I hope we can continue to work constructively, both through what I hope will be the publication of their wastewater management plan, but through tougher sanctions implemented by Ofwat to ensure that we get there. Thank you.